Viva la revolution! Hello Flickering Myth family and welcome to our channel. My name is EJ Marino and we have a movie review for you today. This is an epic, a thrilling, a hilarious. This movie has it all. It is one of the few flawless movies I have seen this year. Yes, we are going to be diving into one battle after another.
Freedom, freedom,
You know what freedom is? No fear. Just like Tom Cruise.
I'm currently on that high that you get when you watch an amazing movie. You know how it is for us cinephiles, us film critics, us movie lovers out there. When you see a good movie, it is like no other feeling in the world. You could have done the best drugs, you could have had the best hookup of your life, but sometimes a good movie just sits right in your soul, and One Battle After Another is that exact movie that just, it found its little place in my heart. I had my hesitations. I'm not going to go, into this being completely like, oh my god, I knew this was going to be flawless. Me and Paul Thomas Anderson don't have the best track record. Me and Leonardo DiCaprio, I see him, he's one of our greatest actors, but I don't always love his movie choices. So I went into this hesitant, excited, but hesitant. My goodness, Paul Thomas Anderson has never looked and felt like this. It is the epic, badass thriller that is, There Will Be Blood, but there's also a hilarious, stoner, weird, trippy, hilarious vibe that you would get from something like Inherent Vice. But then there is the raw, the weird, the strange and unusual that you would get, the grittiness that you would get from something like Boogie Nights. This to me is the best of Paul Thomas Anderson wrapped up in a modern, a fresh bow. This is the perfect movie for right now. I don't think Paul Thomas Anderson has ever felt so on, like, his finger on the pulse. He knows exactly what we want as audience members, as people craving something a bit more explosive from their cinema, and as someone who just needs a escape from reality, but also a glimmer of hope, a message of revolution, a message of it could get better. It's going to get hard, but it could get better. This movie just hits you on so many different levels. You can watch this movie and almost ignore all of the heavy-handed political commentary and just enjoy it for this father-daughter film. You can really get into the political commentary and just feel so hit hard. There's times in this movie that I was shocked that they showed the inside of a immigration detention center. It's something that we don't normally see in mainstream cinema, because I feel like modern movies have not caught up to our modern times, and this again feels so fresh from Paul Thomas Anderson. It feels like he knew exactly what we're talking about right now. Like, it seems so relevant, and it feels like it's only going to get more relevant as time goes on, as the revolution is needed more and more in our country, around the world. It is wild to see that Paul Thomas Anderson had the foresight to make something that, again, is an adaptation of a book from decades ago, but make it feel like it is the most current, relevant film you will ever watch this year. How do you even begin to describe one battle after another? Basically, after 16 years, a group of revolutionaries have to then be reunited forcefully by the wild world that we live in. We have Bob, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, raising his daughter Willa, played by Chase Infiniti. They are kind of isolated, they're on their own, mostly because Bob knows the moment they are introduced into the real world, and for lack of a better term, that they are going to be hunted down by this evil man named, Sergeant Lockjaw. Yes, Sergeant Lockjaw, played by Sean Penn. It took me a moment to see Sean Penn in that role. He is so transformative. He is so different than I've ever seen Sean Penn. So yeah, we're basically seeing Bob and Willa have to go, oh boy, we are now ready for a battle that maybe we're prepared for. My goodness, poor Bob. Leonardo DiCaprio plays this role so amazingly. Probably one of his most pathetic characters. Leonardo DiCaprio plays pathetic and plays this role so well. There's a little bit of Killers of the Flower Moon here. There's a little bit of what I loved about Wolf of Wall Street from him. He plays this role very well of like, oh, I like your character, but what are you doing, bro? Yeah, we have him just kind of realizing he needs to get back to where he was. He had a very tragic moment where he lost the mother of his daughter, and he is basically going, how can I survive? And I'm not spoiling anything by saying the loss of her, because Teyana Taylor's character is, my goodness, she is on another level in this movie. We don't get enough of her, and again, I'm not spoiling anything. Gone is an ambiguous term for a reason, but we don't get enough of her. Teyana Taylor is such a fantastic addition to this movie. She is so powerful, so interesting. There's a moment where we're seeing her postpartum depression, her postpartum life, and what that is doing to her, and how that changes her in so many ways. I love that. But my goodness, you cannot walk out of this movie without feeling Chase Infiniti. She is unlike a lot of our young actresses we have right now. She feels so new. She feels so unbothered by what the Hollywood system is in her way of acting and how she approaches this role. She feels so fresh. Paul Thomas Anderson is not a director I often label as fresh. You know, his acting is very classic. He loves, what Punch Drunk Love is one of his only modern set films. Like, this is a guy who definitely lives and breathes a classic aesthetic. But the way he made this character, the way he made Willa feel like a character of now, it's so interesting to see something feel so now. This feels like a movie we would have get 10 years after the moment. Like, this is so relevant and so current to what is happening now that I'm surprised Hollywood had a movie on deck that feels like it's just documenting what's happening outside of our windows at this exact moment. Like, it is mind-blowing to see, and it's really brought to life by these actors, with Leo, with Teyana, and with Chase. But you also can't deny the supporting cast. Regina Hall, amazing here, overlooked all the time, but always killing it. Benicio del Toro, Sensei, he's so great. And then Sean Penn, like I said, just doing something I've never seen from Sean Penn. This movie is just, it's mind-blowing from what it can get from our actors, what it can tell, the story that it's telling, and how these actors bring it to life. It is unlike anything else, and I'm just so happy that this movie exists. My goodness, though, I might be happy that this is going to exist, but I can see this being a Republican nightmare. Not only is there multiple revolutionary, like, brown folk in this movie, not only is there exposing some underground secret Nazi stuff. Yeah. This movie touches on some stuff, but what I really love is that this movie humanizes so many of our revolutionary fighters, so many people who are fighting against fascism, fighting against what is happening in our world, and how they make them feel like real humans. They're not perfect. None of these characters are flawless. Even the way that they go about something I agree with. Maybe I am even on their political side and I agree with them. The way they go about it, I don't agree with it, but I understand where these characters are coming from. It's so interesting to see a movie that feels, like I said, so relevant and so current, but also so unafraid to be in your face. Paul Thomas Anderson is never one to hold anything back, but the over-the-top nature, the aggressive nature of his filmmaking is just wild. The way he is just so boldly in your face. I never understood Paul Thomas Anderson's personal views on things, like from what was it, Phantom Thread to Licorice Pizza to every other one that he can come out with. I never understand, like, what you doing, Paul? What's this? What's going on here? Like, I just don't understand a lot of that. So I think this is the first time I've seen Paul outside of who he is. Like, he's a great filmmaker. Paul Thomas Anderson, PTA, is one of our amazing filmmakers that we have, but I never knew anything about him outside of his filmmaking. Now I see you, Paul. I see that little crazy boy that's in here that wants to be a freedom fighter, that wants to be on the sidelines of these battles, and I absolutely appreciate that. So I will say, for a lot of people, I do think this movie might be a little too political. I do think you can turn off your, like, intelligent brain and be like, this movie is just a fun, crazy time, because it is, and that's what I love about it. I got a lot of stuff out of it. I love how they depicted our, Mexican American folks. I love how they depicted the struggles between black women, specifically black women. I love how they handled the racist folk in this movie, and I love that sometimes the racist people in this movie aren't even racist for the real racist. Like, it's mind-blowing how much this movie does not hold anything back. No filter, in your face, raw and uncut. That's exactly what these movies should be like. We need more movies like this one. What else is there to say about one battle after another? If you've heard the hype is real. I cannot think of another movie I would rather suggest that everyone go out and see. Is this going to be too much for some folks? I can definitely see that, but it's worth the viewing. Like, it's a long runtime, doesn't feel like that. It's a very political movie, but it can also just be a really interesting story about a father-daughter just trying to save themselves. There's so much here that you can dive into, and that's the best kind of movie. You can watch this movie, and I can watch it, you can watch it, and a person next to us can watch it, and all three of us will walk away with different feelings. That is the type of art we need. That is the type of filmmaking we are craving these days. My goodness, thank you so much, Paul Thomas Anderson, and thank you to Warner Brothers for releasing this. I am so happy that this movie even exists. What did you guys think of my review? What do you think of one battle after another? Share your thoughts down in the comments below. When you're down there, please give us a thumbs up, because YouTube takes those way too seriously, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. I am just over the moon. I cannot wait to talk about this movie with you guys right down below.